Hey guys, Lukey here, coach of the Alpine City Beacons. This is my week 2 review of the DPDL Super Low Tier. My opponent this week is Tiger, coach of the Wonder Pets. Last season, he was pretty dominant in the regular season. He brought a full stall team, and although we had a really interesting, really good match, he was more patient than I was, and he just wore me down. So this season, looking for revenge. Here I have the team preview, or at least the team overview, sorry. You can see his team fairly well balanced and has some really interesting mons that I have to be wary of. Obviously, Venomoth, absolute beast. I prepped for Sleep Powder Quiver Dance. What we got was something else entirely. And I prepped pretty hard for Heatmore because a lot of the mons that I was hoping to break through the team with had trouble with Heatmore and Togedemaru. So you can see with my squad here, I was thinking, you know what, we need to get back to basics. The core of my team is the Firewater, Grass Core, Chestnut, Rapidash, Cramorant, so they all came. And then it's about mixing things up and sort of stretching, you know, some of the roles on the team. So let's get to the team overview here. You can see, although they're fairly covered up, Rapidash, Chestnut, Crabominable, Cursula, Mawile, and Cramorant. So a couple of things, looking at his team off the bat, no Heatmore, which is problematic because I brought Rock Slide on Mawile, which I want to use as a wall breaker instead of knockoff, which would have been really useful. But also, I can't really tell what his strategy is going to be. And what sort of ends up happening is a repeat of last season, except a much different endgame. So let's get into it. We're going to watch it. This is the first time watching it through since it happened. So turn one, terrible lead for me. Chestnut is the only hazards I brought on the team. He has spikes. He's a bulky set and EV'd to survive a couple of specific things from him. But also with Earthquake, which is EV'd enough to 2-hit KO, 0 defensive investment, Venomoth. But Chimecho, a Pokemon definitely to be afraid of. James Vid's been hyping it up, and for good reason. It's super useful utility mon, and Chimecho is definitely the MVP of this match for Tiger, I'd say. But anyway, rough turn one, so immediately out to Cursula, and this is going to be the constant match, but also a preview of things to come, Thunderwave. So Cursula doesn't mind being paralyzed, but it doesn't love it either, because Cursula's whole thing is this thing, I have it physically bulky, but it's so naturally specially bulky and has such a high special attack that it can 2-hit KO most things in this tier with 2 moves. So the turn 1 para really hurts because that was a Shadow Ball, and that puts Venomoth into the 2-hit KO range. And Venomoth is, well, you can see it was a roll, so I stand corrected. But you can see immediately there's sort of concerns going off in my head because first off, Sleep Powder, yeah, trying to catch me on the switch to something. I'm going to guess Rapidash. You know, Chestnut's immune. But Sleep Powder, Teleport, and that looked fairly bulky. So I'm starting to think this guy might be running a stall team again, as he really refuses to attack me. In fact, Volt Switch turn 6, I think, is the first actual attack. So Cursula just keeps on coming in on things, and you can see its value here, but also the other key matchup is Chestnut and Persian Alola. So my team, you know, Chestnut is really the main dark switch in. Mawile here is serving a different purpose. So keeping Chestnut healthy is sort of the key here. but it's hard to hit something that keeps on switching out, and he's got pivots on everything. So I take the opportunity to get spikes up, and this third move revealed with Venomoth is Roost. So this thing, look how much it took from Earthquake. With zero investment, it's a minimum 50%. So to do 19% tells me that this thing is fully defensive Venomoth, which is a super interesting set. But also, I'm not really quite sure why he brought it, because it just sort of takes hits but doesn't get very far. So I get another layer of spikes up before Chimecho comes in, brings in Cursula, and I'm aware of the chip here. And so I believe I go for Strength Sap. And this is a key move for Cursula because it doesn't have reliable recovery otherwise. So it really is reliant on getting these Strength Saps and keeping it healthy. And even something that's specially attacking like Lantern provides a lot of healing. So here I did not realize that Strength Sap could miss. I still actually don't know why that missed. I thought it was 100% accurate, but that's a big miss. And also it was a big missed opportunity to do a bunch of damage, because Shadow Ball gets Venomoth into a danger zone, even though it comes in, gets its defog, and then is able to teleport out. So we're back repeating this cycle. Persian comes in, parting shot. He's not a threat. Chimecho comes in. I'm sort of looking for an opportunity to hit something hard, but he gets Lopunny in here, who's immune. Luckily, it cancels out that wish. And here, first misplay by me of the match. I did not expect Lopunny to have Play Rough. I don't really know what I was expecting. Maybe, well, if I was expecting Fire Punch, I was a fool. I think on Cursula I would think knockoff, but Play Rough takes Crabominable down. Now Crabominable's not super valuable to me in this match because it doesn't outspeed anything major on his team. It doesn't look like really the only thing that's going to come in and get a hit off is Lantern, and it will get that chance. So here I come, I bring Rapidash in. Rapidash's boots Flash Fire here. Turns out the item does matter if it was Choice Band, especially if I had known he didn't have rocks. Choice Band actually would have been a game-winning decision later on, but we're into this cycle where he's pivoting out. I'm doing paltry damage, but I'm able to heal and get some key things up when I need them. So here, Chimecho nabs my leftovers, which sucks because now I'm reliant on Strength Sap for healing. The Lagging Tail don't really care. Cursula's not outspeeding anything anyway. So here, this is also another missed opportunity, although it pays off long term. I get the Strength Sap off, that heals me up, but damn, that would have actually been the opportunity for a Shadow Ball. This time I go for the aggressive switch, because I think, you know what, now's the time. He's going for the wish, he's likely going to try and heal something. I get Mawile in on Lantern, and I immediately go back to Cursula. So I'm trying to position and look for an opportunity, but with Lantern luckily poisoned but at full health, it's not quite the opportunity for Mawile, and I can't risk it getting burned right now. So again, it's the Persian Chestnut matchup. He makes a couple of really nice double switches to keep the pressure up on me, but because he doesn't have any hazards, this is a game that I can play all day as we keep switching back and forth. And here's where he finally takes a shot at it. And I did not EV for this scenario, but luckily, Play Rough is not a two-hit KO. It just forces me into a healing situation and puts me in crit range. But I get lucky here. Chestnut does not get critted, and I get some nice Rocky Helmet chip, and that is a relevant thing for later on. And once I noticed that interaction, I was all about seeing where this could go. So in comes Cramorant. I come in, I'm about to get paralyzed because Chimecho spread paralysis on everything. and tries to trick. So I lose my heavy duty boots, but again, this guy, no hazards. I'm not worried. He goes to the wish. Cramorant can't quite kill things, and this is another misplay for me because I think if I had gotten the move off there, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was maybe trying to predict Lopunny to come in and go for and I was going to go for the Drain Punch. But actually, had I gone for a Surf there, I might have actually been able to kill Venomoth, which would have broken the match wide open. So here he's switching around. Cursula's still doing pretty good. He finally attacks the Chimecho, revealing Psychic, and I let it heal. Another mistake. I think at this point I was feeling really passive in the match and just trying to wait him out, but also trying to play the long game because he's wearing me down good. But surprisingly, he doesn't switch earlier. And there I went for the Shadow Ball a turn too late, whereas Strength Sap, the opposite order would have been better. Here, Lopunny gets the U-turn. I get the punish with Rocky Helmet. We're back to this Chestnut switch-in matchup. Chimecho comes in, can eat it all day. Shadow Ball on Lantern gets some really nice chip, and now it's in a lot of danger. And I know here that I can probably go for a Strength Sap. Yep. Gets Cursula back into range here. Do I go for it again? No. No, I got a little carried away. Another Strength Sap would have been perfect. Here, Play Rough misses. That is a big push of luck for me. But here I decide, you know what? Let's get Spikes up, keep the pressure up, keep wearing him down. Now here I make, I think we both double. And I realize that now Persian Alola is probably going to attack, and I think he sees the opportunity to maybe take out Cursula. So Crabominable's not that useful to me at this point, but it's AV. It's going to take anything Persian wants to hit easily. Dark Pulse, and so what do I go for here? I think it's an Ice Hammer. Yeah, so great play. Even at -1, it's still doing great damage to Venomoth and putting a lot, suddenly that damage is racking up, and Chimecho can't heal everybody. And it gives me an opportunity to bring Mawile in because I know that Mawile can 2-hit KO things, but he gets the sleep powder off, and now I'm panicking at this point, and I'm trying to get rid of the sleep as best I can, but it allows him to bring Sandslash in, and the first KO of the match, 58 turns in, goes to Sandslash Alola. I bring in Rapidash because at this point, a weakened squad, with the exception of Lantern, Rapidash does really well against. And here I think I just go for the damage, and it's enough to take out Lantern because Spikes and Toxic really add up quickly. So Rapidash in and out. Yep, he goes for the Power Gem. That allows Mawile to come back in. He tries to set up, and I get really lucky here. I wake up from sleep and Play Rough. That is bye-bye Alolan Persian. That's the first good thing that happened to me all match. Here, Chestnut is again breaking down Lopunny slowly, but Chimecho still a problem as it goes for an attack. It's trying to take me out. It does manage to get the 2-hit KO. I think he must have calced that. Here I go for Venomoth or Mawile because it's a free switch, and I know I can start to pressure things because Lantern's gone. That's his main switch in to Mawile. Iron Head is a clean 2-hit KO. I decide to avoid the sleep powder. The nice thing about the Chimecho paralyzing so many things on my team is that now I have switch-ins for Venomoth, and in comes Cramorant. So I'm going to set up the Surf, get my Gulp Missile, such a great ability. I'm thinking about when to hit Air Slash, so I get lucky here. I get a critical hit, so now Venomoth is in some trouble. Now he decides to go long term here and go for the Defog, and I reveal Air Slash, and that takes out Venomoth, which is great. And here, again, my opponent, huge balls here to go for the Mega Kick. Okos, but thanks to Gulp Missile, takes Lopunny out right away. So this was a big, I think this is the moment in the match. I'm trying to think of how I could have played it better. I was thinking Chestnut's the least useful to me here, but if I could get off anything or a spike, that could be good. This is where Mawile not having knockoff really hurts because I could come in and knock something and still have Chestnut as backup. But because of that, I go Chestnut, let it die for no reason to Chimecho. I could have at least gotten, rocks. And here, right away, I get the Iron Head off. I'm trying to think. I don't know if knockoff Okos, but it might have. And he gets the Thunder Wave. And all I need to do is hit one more move because Rapidash will outspeed Alolan Sandslash. It's Life Orbed. All Mawile has to do, 1 Paralyze, 2 Paralyze. Sucker Punch just can't break through. When I do, he goes for the Trick. That's 3 Paralyzes, 4 Paralyzes. He's taken my Life Orb and he heals up and is able to get me. Now he has the Life Orb, so that brings him, and this is how close this match was at the end. This is a roll, I believe, for the match, and he lives with 2%. So at that point, yeah, even the next turn, Rapidash outspeeds Paralyzed and still gets it. So 5 straight Paralyzes. Yeah, that was a hard one. That's a hard pill to swallow. So at first I was disappointed, but one, great game to my opponent, Tiger. I thought he played it really well. He brought such an interesting team. Not the group of Stallmons that you'd think to see in lower tiers, but he really finds a way to make it work. And Lopunny and Alolan Sandslash really, help give it some offensive oomph. But my takeaways from this match, I mean, I'm 0-2. It's bitterly disappointing. I have to go, 5-1 or 4-2 the rest of the way to have any chance at the playoffs. So I might be cooked already. But I think the important takeaway is the process. I brought a version of my team that's sort of in line with my original vision. You can see the synergies really well in the squad. Everybody had their role, except maybe Crabominable, but even then he still got off some great chip. And it's more about the process, because in a game like this where there's dice rolls and luck involved, you can only prep and make the right move or the good move so many times. Sometimes you're just going to get unlucky. Sometimes you're going to get paralyzed 4 out of 5 turns when you really need it. So it's too bad I'm not 1-1, but that's the way she goes. I'm considering making some trades, one swap in particular. We'll see if I make it before Sunday night, but thanks for watching, guys. This is an extra long video. If you made it to the end, please, like, subscribe. If you like watching these, give me some feedback. I'd love to hear from you. And for all my fellow Canadians out there, happy Thanksgiving weekend. Thanks. Bye.